Hi everybody. So today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about algae blooms and the role agriculture plays in causing them. But first, let's dive into what algae blooms are so we can understand why agriculture is causing these problems and then understand the solution to them. So first off, what are algae blooms? Algae blooms are an overgrowth of algae in bodies of water like lakes, ponds, and oceans. And what it's caused by is excess nitrogen, phosphorus mixed with oxygen and sunlight, which makes the algae grow at a much faster pace than normal. And what happens with this is it overgrows, and that's where you see, in a body of water, half of it's green. And now normally people think, well, algae's not a bad thing, but in this case it is. So let's go into why it's not a good thing. So why are algae blooms bad? Well, first off, the overgrowth, the rapid growth of algae blooms, it needs oxygen to grow, so it's increasing the amount of oxygen it uptakes, and it decreases the amount of oxygen left in the water supply. And that's where fish and other plant life are deprived of oxygen. Now, just like with us, if we're deprived of oxygen, we're going to die, and so they are dying off. And that's what happens when you have these dead zones. They're literally zones within a body of water where the overgrowth has been so quick and so large that literally nothing can survive in there but that algae. And another thing that's pretty bad about algae blooms is with that rapid growth, it's releasing toxins. And those toxins are being absorbed by plant life, animal life, and are also being released into the air. So what happens is, let's say you eat a fish that has some of these toxins, eventually after enough occurrences, that is going to affect your health. So that's why this is a huge problem and starting to become more global as well as national problem that eventually regulations are going to come down on, is because this right here is not only affecting health, but affecting the economy with dead fish that you aren't going to be able to sell, as well as the tourist attractions, because no one wants to visit a beach that has a bunch of dead zones and dead fish and toxins on it. So now that we've gone over what are algae blooms and why they're bad, let's dive into what role agriculture plays in this. So like I said earlier, nitrogen is one of the contributing factors to why algae blooms are occurring, and this stems from agriculture using over 15 million tons of nitrogen. That is a lot of nitrogen that frankly we can cut back on. And farmers also get a 40% use efficiency. Now what that means is out of 100 pounds of nitrogen applied, only 40 pounds of it is going to be absorbed by the plant. So that's over 60% that's being lost. And 30% of that 60% is leaches away into the groundwater. Now what I mean by that is that the water coming down pulls the nitrogen into the groundwater way below or pulls it out of reach of the plant. So either way, you're not having that nitrogen help plant growth. And water quality is normally not checked when you come off of the field. You check the water you're applying, but not the water that comes off the field. So what solution can agriculture come up with to help solve this problem? I think that the solution is Preserve N. Now what Preserve N is a chemical that you apply to fertilizers, and it keeps nitrogen in the two absorbable forms of ammonium and nitrate. And what this is going to do is it's going to help increase your nitrogen use efficiency. So instead of 40%, we're maybe up to 60 or 70%. And that also is going to contribute to less groundwater nitrogen, or you're going to have to reduce the amount of nitrogen you apply. So you're going to be saving farmer money, but that's less runoff that you have to worry about, less nitrogen getting into the water sources, and less nitrogen reaching these oceans and ponds and bodies of water. And that's going to help preserve the environment and help end algae blooms. So to kind of sum it up, algae blooms are a real problem that soon legislation is going to be passed on and regulations are going to be in place. It's already happening at the city level. It's soon going to happen at a federal level. And unfortunately, agriculture does play a major role in this problem. But thankfully, agriculture has the solution to it. And that solution is Preserve N. By being able to increase our use efficiency of nitrogen and reduce the amount of nitrogen we're able to apply, we can help limit and stop algae blooms in their place. Thank you.